Hi everyone, Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for joining me in and taking your time out from your busy schedule. Today we'll be discussing design sprints, and you guys would be learning that how you can use design sprint to test your ideas and prototypes in just 5 days. So it's all about being scrappy rather than doing perfect. So I'll just start. This training is for who should be taking part in this training. So it's for consultants and coaches for the agile design thinking, strategy, business, or it can be also taken by business owners or agency owners, designers, or anyone who wants to be able to run or design their own workshops. A little about myself. I'm a certified project management, PMP, and Scrum professional with more than 7 years of experience in managing multiple large scale projects in diverse industries such as manufacturing, telecommunications, and retail. I'm dual specialized in marketing and HR and have helped different companies in setting up PMO, be that IT or digital. I'm also certified for implementing ITIL standards for good IT management, and that's all about me. So we'll start that. Okay. So while working on projects over the number of years, I noticed three main problems. The first one is busy work, which is 80 to 90% of the actual work. It's kind of cool. It's more like making presentations and meeting people and not doing anything productive. So this sort of work is the busy work, which is you're actually wasting time and not doing anything productive, which is clear you get paid for doing nothing, but later on it gets frustrating. The second problem which I identified was we spend more time thinking and talking about how do we do projects than actually doing the work itself. Like maybe we have we come across different questions like maybe we should do design thinking on this, or maybe we should do personas, or maybe we should do business model campaign, or maybe we should use softwares. Maybe this design sprint should be for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. We really spend so much time talking about how to do projects than actually spend less time on doing the work which was actually required. And the third main problem, which I identified, was the project fatigue, which always kicked in. No matter how cool the project was initiated, after some time, everyone starts getting frustrated that this is how we have worked, and the energy level drops, and people start leaving company before the projects even get completed. So, uh, can you guys hear me? There's some distortion. Hello, please.
Yes, Mehreen, I can hear you.
Yes.
Please continue.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys, please mute. Mute. Thank you. Okay. So let me know in the chat box or comments if you have ever felt like that you or your company, you're mostly doing busy work, not actually focusing on what's important. You don't have crystal clear systems for starting new projects. You're tied up in non-stop back and forth approval process. Or every time you have to run a workshop, it takes ages to create new systems and get the approvals for that. You sell your own work by hours. Your projects often fail, or you don't even reach the full potential because the group thinking, useless brainstorming sessions where which lacks clarity. Everyone jumps in and put in their ideas uh, and and without having focusing on individual creativity. So you're stuck thinking that wrong with the system, a process that will help you or your company. But the reality is nobody will solve this problem for you. You're stuck. So There's no outcome, no consultant does. The problem is with the mindset. Just a few years ago, when I started my work and I was like working on multiple projects, after some time, I started to really hate my work. Initially, my team used to do when they were designing projects or when they were like working on some projects. So we used to show it to clients. They wouldn't like it. Then we used to go back and forth and back and forth. Then brainstorming sessions in and out, endless cycles with customizations for every project every time. There were like huge demands. We used to get bored of the projects. Then we wouldn't just go for like the projects which were supposed to end in like 3 or 4 months. They used to take more than 8, 9 months, or sometimes 1.5 year. Everyone low morale and frustration, unhappy teams. So I felt like every project had the same outcome: disappointment, frustration, lack of energy. Even the product, even if the client or customer used to say okay, but after all that effort, which was supposed to end within a month or two, took 6, 7 months. And in IT projects, the technology it gets obsolete, so that results in less profit. So the conclusion for all discussions and decisions to take most of your time, and we believe, please, please mute your guys. There's a lot of distortion. Okay, we believe that doing perfect is the only thing we should do. A lot of project managers they focus on perfection. Customer is no doubt the focal point, but that doesn't require you to be perfect or give the perfect solution, because perfection leads to consuming more time. Most of us are working in the are using agile methodology, which is focusing on quick value delivery. So that means that you have to deliver value to your customer as soon as possible, and you need to get the quick feedback so that you can iterate your product, or the feedback which was given can be incorporated. That's the reason why we do 2 weeks sprint or 4 weeks sprint, depending. Uh, but what design sprint is, it is actually design thinking plus empathy, where you empathize with the problem, not the solution. It's a structured, step by step system for solving big problems as a team in 1 week. It's actually a change of mindset. Rather than directly on solutions, you tend to identify what exactly is the problem, and then you work on that problem. It's Google's process for coming up with tested prototypes to use days. It depends. It can be 5 days, and sometimes it can be 4 days. So what can sprint be used for? Large software products, business models, application design, organizational change projects, web projects, hardware, anything, sales project. It's not just for products, or it can be used for anything. And I will show you in the end that how I implemented design sprint for solving one of the administrative problems in my organization, and that was related to parking. So, well, design sprint. Okay, so and in my organization, what we do is it's a 2 weeks flagship program, and in first week it's all about cognitive neurology, where we do the unlearning thing first and then relearn. Unlearning is all about the typical mindset that once you have a statement, you directly jump to solution. And what we do is we'll unlearn this thing and we focus on problems rather than jumping on solutions. In second week, it's all about design sprint, which is Google's process, like I told you earlier. Design sprints is one of the tools within design thinking framework that has received a lot of attention lately. Google Venture released this book in 2016. Their book brought this process to mainstream as a repeatable recipe for innovation. In their process, they outline a 5-day framework for reframing business challenges through mapping solutions, ideating, refining prototyping, and testing. Consider it as a mashup for agile methodology and design thinking. Sprints take a design thinking process and constrain it into an abbreviated timeline for refinement and iteration, much as agile development teams do. Design sprints are extremely powerful as they allow companies to uncover risks quicker and gather alignment with little investment or time. It's it's just like जिसे हम कहते हैं जुगाड़ लगाना. So sprint is design sprint is all about scrappiness, जुगाड़ लगाना. When you do not when you're not focusing on um, high investment prototype, when you can like just satisfy your customer with the low investment or low cost prototype, so there's no need for investing too much time and money in testing your prototypes. It's just about being scrappy. And then in this mindset, teams couple exploration with clearly defined steps for refining and testing the solution. This process helps companies stress test assumptions before going too far in one direction. Ultimately, it helps foster a shared vision and sparks innovation at large. There are a lot of companies in the world that are using design sprints, and you can see on the screen these are the main companies. Other than this, there are a lot other. Even in Pakistan now, this has become a trend. Uh, but you can see that Uber, Slack, Google, HP, Netflix, they're all using design sprint for innovation. So coming to design sprint, it's like I said, it's a 5-day process, and each day starting from Monday till Friday, you have to perform certain activities, and you need to have a certain checklist for each day. So starting with Monday, all about mapping and empathizing. On Monday, you'll kick off your sprint by understanding the problem and choosing a target for the week's effort. With only 5 days, it might seem crazy to spend an entire day talking and writing on whiteboards, but if you don't slow down in the first day um, and share what you know and prioritize, you could end up wasting an effort on wrong path or wrong problem. So Monday is all about identifying the right problem. So you need to have a structured discussion that creates a path for the rest of the week. In morning, you'll start at the end and agree to a long-term goal. And next, you will create a map of a challenge. Long-term goal means that something um, you have a goal in your mind, and that problem is addressing that goal. In afternoon, you'll ask the expert at your company to share what they know. And finally, you'll pick a target, an ambition, a manageable piece of problem that you can solve in a week. It could be related to, let's suppose, there's low traction of customers or people on your website, or you think that your application, the app you have developed, it's just not directing users to the main area or the landing page where they're supposed to. So you might be thinking that if your website is not it has low traction, maybe you think that we're not marketing it well, or maybe we need a lot of branding or marketing budget for this. But what if that's not the problem? What if the users they're unable to get directions to your website, or maybe where you have advertised, you have spent a lot of money on advertisement, but you're advertising it on the wrong platforms. So you have these structured discussions with your team, and then you set a long-term goal, and then you create a map, a challenge. What is the current flow um, of the customer journey? What is the current customer improve it? What is your end goal? And then you ask the experts, you interview them, and then in the end you'll pick one target which you think is easy, quick fix, and you will work on that. On Monday you have a checklist starting from 10 a.m. Usually we start our design sprints at 10 a.m. because people, they're never on time. So what we do is we write this entire checklist on the whiteboard. We do introduce all the team members what the design sprint is, or what we're going to do, what the end result would be. Around 10:15, we set the long-term goals. It's all about getting optimistic. You need to ask, why are we doing this project? Where do we want to be in next 6 months, or a year, or 5 years from now? And then you need to list down the sprint questions. These are all pessimistic questions. What sort of things can happen? All those constraints and assumptions that will make you um, get towards the failure or not achieving your end goal. So you need to list down everything so that you can plan it well. Then after an hour or so, once we have set our long-term goal and we have all these sprint questions, then we make a map. It's a list of customers, key players, and end goals. So on the extreme left, you will list down your customers or the key players. Let's suppose there's a buyer and a seller. So they are your key players. And what is the end goal? Do you want your end goal could be that you want to increase your traffic on your website by 10% or 15% by end of 2019, or you want uh, uh, that your customers should download certain application which you have developed. So this goal needs to be written down on the extreme right. And finally, you have to make a flow chart in between showing how customers will interact with your um, product. Let's suppose that um, I have to download an application. So how will I download? I will, if I'm an Android user, so I will go to Play Store, and then I will download that application. But from where did I got that information? Did a friend told me? Was it a word of mouth? Or was it advertised somewhere? So you need to create all those flows, that how my customer is going to gain awareness about my product and will end up using my product or service. Then around and this activity will take almost 2.5 hours. So you need to give them enough time to make this entire map and think thoroughly about their key players, whosoever, all those stakeholders that are directly or indirectly linked with your product. Let's suppose Uber. So what can be your end goal, that you want um, to increase more users for using Uber application? So the customers or your key players would be the drivers, then the users of your application, and then and when you'll be linking it with your end goal. So you need to make sure that more people download the Uber application, more people, and it's user friendly enough to um, that the user can, call a ride, and then once the ride, so your end goal doesn't end here, that you want to increase your customers. Your end goal will be that you need to increase your revenue. So your revenue will increase only when you have more customers that are using your service. So when linking, so this entire circle or chain will end. Please mute your I'm hearing some distortion. Guys, please mute. Thank you. So okay, so where was I? Short request, please don't unmute it. It will distract me from where I was. Okay. So then after making the map, you'll set your team for, like, it could be a team break, lunch break, or individual. It's fun that you all eat together and discuss what you're working upon. So after that, the same day, you will start your interviews. So you will ask the expert. You will interview your experts on your sprint team and the guests outside your team. You need to aim at least 15 to 30 minutes each. The more people you will interview, the better it would be. But the count shouldn't be more than 10 to 15. Otherwise, you'll just end up having it's more like too many cooks spoil the broth. So you need to be sure that the people you are interviewing are the current customers or will be the potential customers, because you don't want to interview somebody who is just not going to be your user. So you need to be clear on that. So you need to list down all the experts or the stakeholders you're going to interview. Then you need to explain the how might we notes. So how might we is like, if I am telling you a problem that when I make a call on Uber, when I it's book a ride on Uber, so it becomes hassle for me when they are like, when the numbers are not displayed, and when I do not get the driver information right there and then I have to wait for them. So so it's so from this statement, when you'll be interviewing people, you need to ask them, how might we make it simpler, or how might we make it user friendly. You need to listen to them, that what are their problems. Each problem is a how might we question, which you need to write down on a sticky note. One sticky note represents one how might we question, and you need to gather as many as you can. So you need to have your stationery ready, you need to have your sticky notes, you need to have your markers and whiteboards, and then you need to reframe problems as opportunities, that if there is a problem, that is your potential opportunity. So you need to list it down. Once this is done, this activity will take almost 2 hours. Then you need to organize all the how might we notes that you have taken. Stick all of them um, on a wall. And just like we do affinity mapping, this will follow the same process, that you need to club them under one label or heading. So it could be related to admin, it could be related to marketing. So all those how might we is related to marketing, or need to be clubbed under one label. Related to revenue or profits should be clubbed under one theme, and so on. This will help you figure out where exactly is the problem. And then once all these how might we's are organized and the labels, then you need to ask your team members to vote. Each person has 2 votes. So they need to come and think that as per them, what exactly or what do they think can be the potential problem or is the main problem. So every single member will come and place a red dot, which which it could, you can use a marker or a red dot stickers, that depends. So each member can vote twice. So the more votes on a single how might we would be your will be the winner of the map, or the potential or you can say the opportunity where you have to work upon. And this will lead you to pick a target. You need to circle your most important customers and one of the target moment on the map. Following Monday, um, on Tuesday, after a full day of understanding the problem and choosing a target for your sprint, on Tuesday you get to focus on solution. The day starts with inspiration, a review of existing ideas to remix and improve. Then in the afternoon, each person will sketch following a four-step process that emphasizes critical thinking over artistry. You'll have to begin planning, and you need to plan for Friday, because Friday is a day when you'll be testing your prototype with the customers. So you need to plan which customers will you be having that day who gonna test your solution. So you need to onboard or recruit those customers that fit your target profile. So for Tuesday, you have the following checklist. Um, the day again starts with at 10 a.m. They're going to be lightning demos. Uh, it, Lightning demos is like, if you find a problem, like for us, what we did was we identified problem related to parking, because in my office it becomes hassle after 9:45 that people they're unable to find parking space, and it takes almost 15 to 20 minutes to park a car. So what we did was we looked for solutions ranging from companies, including what we think can be the one, and then we have to compare them. I mean, um, it's all about searching best possible solutions over the web, and then you need to capture all those good ideas, and then you need to draw that on the whiteboard. If you think that XYZ company is doing better than us, so you need to study your customer. You need to study all those companies which are directly related to your not, but they have a similar solution to your problem. So you need to do some research work. Lightning demos are all about doing some research related to the problem. Then you need to sketch your solution. Um, the map which you made on Monday, you need to identify the problem area, and then you need to sketch the solution accordingly. So for this, as you can see that at 2 p.m., the four step sketch briefly explains that this design sprint is all about individualism. There's no brainstorming. Every single person will be doing everything individually. You're not supposed to discuss your idea, whatever solution is in your mind. You're not supposed to tell your team member even. So even when you're voting for a solution you think is practical, you are not supposed to discuss it, because then you will end up um, you'll end up kind of uh, your decision might emphasize their decision, whatever they have. So you need to keep everything to yourself. You're not supposed to discuss it. So you'll be having 20 minutes to privately jot down your rough ideas and circle the most promising one. Then you need to make the crazy eights. It's like folding one paper into 8 frames and then sketching various options and the best ideas in each frame. And then you need to sketch the solution. The 30 and that will take 30 to 90 minutes of your day. And then your day ends. Coming to Wednesday, by Wednesday morning, your team will have a stack of solution. That's great, but that's a problem because too many solutions. You need to find out that one problem you can quickly work upon. So you cannot prototype every single solution that was identified. So you need to have that one solid plan. In the morning, you'll critique each solution. You will discuss all the solutions you have jotted down and then decide the one best that can help you achieve your long term goal. Then in the afternoon, you'll take the winning scenes from your sketches and weave them into storyboards. That's a step by step plan for your prototype. For Wednesday, you have the following checklist. You need to have a sticky decision, and you have to create heat maps. So heat map is having over the map an area where too many problems were identified. So that is the heat map. That if too many votes were given to marketing, that means that you need to work upon your marketing strategy. So, and then you need to have a speed critic that is 3 minutes per sketch. It's a group discussion where everyone will be justifying why they think that this is the best solution, and then you will poll and vote. So it's all about like finding out the best solution, and then you have to vote down so that you can focus on creating your prototype. So we come to Thursday. Thursday is deciding on what best solution we have. So on Wednesday, you and your team created a storyboard, and on Thursday, you'll adopt a fake it philosophy to turn that into a prototype. It's more like focusing your customer facing service of your product or service, and you can finish your prototype in just one day. So on Thursday, you'll make sure that everything is ready for Friday. And on Friday, you have to test by confirming the schedule, reviewing the prototypes, and writing the interview scripts. So on Thursday, you will pick the right tools. Um, and it's like when you're creating a prototype, not necessarily need to have like if you're developing a feature for an application, so you can use different tools like proto.io to create um, a prototype rather than just actually making an application and then taking it to your customer and then getting it tested, the entire UI UX. So you can simply do it by creating that one interface, the wireframes on proto.io, and then you need to have your prototype ready by end of Thursday. So you need to do all the trials and runs to make sure that there are no mistakes. Make sure that the interviewer and the decider, they see it. So all those people from whom you interviewed initially uh, are those who will be testing your prototype. So you need to be sure that um, you're already aligned with them. Then comes Friday. It's the big day because that's the day when you are actually going to present the promising solution, the best uh, chosen solution which you have, which you selected for creating a prototype. And but you'll take one step further and you will interview customers and learn by watching them how they react to your customer. Let's suppose if I have to create an added feature for my application, if let's suppose it's Food Panda, and they want to test that, is it really easy for their customers to order food from their application. So so they need to really focus on, while testing the prototype, you need to focus on your customers gestures, their facial expressions. And for that, what we do have this customer experience room, where just like any other interrogation room, we have um, lots of cameras, which the customer isn't really aware of, and they're all focusing on their expressions, facial expressions, that make us understand that how easy it is for the customer to interact with that application. Are they making different faces? Is it like difficult for them to find out how to place an order, or is it easy for them, or they have to like really make an effort to look for buttons to complete the entire workflow. So you need to mm, observe them, uh, how they react to your prototype, and this is how you're going to test your prototype. So at the end of the day, you'll know how far you have to go, and if you need to make any iteration, then you can do that. But this will justify that whatever solution you presented to your problem has worked or not. So for Friday, it's like I told you, two rooms. In a sprint room, the sprint team will watch a video feed of the interview. You'll need to have a second smaller room for the actual interviews. So make sure that the interview room is clean, comfortable for your guests. You need to have that setup of hardware and video streaming. You need to have those webcams and where and microphones and smartphones. So that's how and it's for the applications. For other prototypes, you can make them use the prototype. Like I'll show you how we got tested our prototype. So we had this long-term goal, and this work was what we do voluntarily. This is not my job, but in Telenor, what we do is we have a group of design sprint people. We call them activators, and we work on different problems. Uh, we work on different problems as a volunteer, so that is other than our routine work. So one of the problems recently we work upon was the long-term goal was by the end of 2019, employees will have improved parking experience. So you can see that here is the customer map, which we created on Monday. And after having and the problem we identified was that on average 15 to 20 minutes each day is wasted in search of free parking lot. And please mute, kindly mute, thank um, please mute, thank you. Okay. And then on the left, you can see that how might we's HMWs. So on each sticky note, so we interviewed a lot of people. We interviewed our security team, the admin team, all those people who bring in their car, males and females, each level, director level, and then managers, and then JG4, 3, and 2, so that we can have an idea that how many people or what exactly and what other problems can be. So while interviewing them, we came to know that there are a lot of different problems that if you can see that the one problem was this area, that when we have to swap the card, so that RFID thingy, it's placed on a ramp, which makes it difficult for the driver to swap the card, while while there are chances that the car can go in reverse. So this was one of the problems. And then another problem which we identified was that the ground floor parking, there are no shades there. So people were their least preference was to park on the open space or the surface area space. And then there was another problem that um, the people were that the guard sitting outside used to tell them that there is no parking space. Whereas when they used to try their luck, so they used to find out the space. Um, but this entire thing took almost like 15 to 20 minutes each day. So this was the map which we drawn, and then we did some voting, and then we found and the most votes were for this B1 and B2 parking. That the simplest solution which we can do is to have some indicators for the parking space. And then we did create some concept sketches and the sprint questions and the crazy eights. I'm sorry, this picture is very small. I cannot zoom in, but this is how we did the entire 1 week design sprint on one whiteboard. And let me show you the video. It will make it more clear that the entire journey, how design sprint worked. I hope you guys can. So, um, well, I made this short video of the entire design sprint we did um, 2 months ago, and it included everything that how we interviewed different stakeholders, how we identified the problem, how we created the customer map, and then while making the prototype. So actually, we had to make that prototype. So it's all about scrappiness. So our prototype was were the Arduino chips, which they're like the sensors which we were supposed to place in the parking, but due to rain, we were unable to do that. So we actually wanted to create um, the bean counter that which would like indicate that if the parking is full, it would uh, turn the light red, and if and the count would be 000. And if there are spaces, because we have around 450 space in the parking, so if there is availability, so it will share the count and the light would remain green. But due to rain, we were unable to place those chips in the floor. So what we did, we became more scrappy, and we made the bean counter with a simple um, chart paper and and few other color sheets, and we just tested it. Because and when we were testing it, a lot of people came and questioned us, what are we doing, and they kind of appreciated and then later on they really identified that yes, this is one of the problems they're facing it daily. So it's like the purpose of showing this video to you was to you guys was that when you have to develop your prototypes and you have to test your idea, so you necessarily not really need to put in a lot of effort of a month or so to come up with a solution which you can show it to your customer and then take the feedback. You can just do that in 4 or 5 days. We did that in 5 days. We got an extremely positive response. Our CEO was so happy that he made us actually implement this project. So now this is one of the projects we're working upon as a volunteer, but it's like our admin team was on the other hand they were working like with different vendors taking the cost and whatnot, and from last 3 to 4 months they couldn't even come up with a plan, whereas we were like group of people, one someone from digital, other from BI, and someone from finance or B2B. None of us was from security or admin. This wasn't our work, but it was like we wanted to test some idea and prototype, and we did that just 4 days, and we got the customer response. So so the idea behind design sprint is you need to have that mindset that jumping directly to solution is not appreciated. You need to focus on identifying the problem. Once you have identified what is your exact problem, only then you can come up with solutions. And then you have to come up with various solutions. And then you need to check which solution can meet your long term goal. And that's all about design sprint. So, any questions?
Yes, I have. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Um, I have two questions. First one is how do we sell this design thinking to our stakeholders, like the executive of the company or the client? Like how do we
Mm-hmm.
convince him that if you follow this pattern, we will get something related to this problem.
And second question?
What?
And what's your second question?
Um, and my second question is, can you give the example of any type of expert which we have to interview in this process, which you mentioned in the presentation? Like the expert is the user or the any colleague of the organization.
Okay. So answering the first question, how do we sell design sprint or convince the management to implement this? Well, what what you can do is what we did in Telenor was that um, you have to take an initiative because it's like it's same if you have to convince your management for implementing agile way of work over the traditional project management. So someone has to take that initiative to make them see or realize the difference, because everyone is more concerned about what is it in it for them. So you need to tell them that if that's a process which can help you validate a prototype uh, in just within 4 or 5 days, rather than working on a solution for a month and then delivering it to your customer, and then in the end your customer is not satisfied. So you'll end up wasting a whole month and your team's energy, and that will result in decreasing their morale. So the same process is squeezed into 4 days. Everything what you were supposed to do in a month's time, you're doing it in 4 to 5 days. So you're getting quick results. You're getting quick feedback. It's just the agile way, but it's squeezed into 4 days to to have the entire process. It's just like running this entire sprint for a week time, and then and it's so and there the cost is minimum compared to the actual development of that feature. So like I told you, proto.io, you can use that for developing prototypes for your application. We do the same. When we were planned to have some integration within our existing applications with Easy Pesa. So that's what we did. We made a prototype for that. We placed all the icons that uh, after interviewing our customers that where exactly were they facing difficulty, were they able to see those pop-ups right there and then, or they had to take their due time to figure out where exactly they want to click. So instead of developing the entire feature and the entire workflow, um, what we did, we made that on proto.io, and we just asked them to test it. So, and it included zero cost because that's free of cost. Anyone can use that um, software. So that's how you can convince them, and for that you need to tell them that there's zero opex or minimum opex involved and less time and more frequent delivery to the customer. So it's not that difficult, but it's just about somebody taking the initiative. And you answering to your second question, the expert, depending on what solution you have, your expert to whom you have to interview can be anyone. um, if you saw this video, in that we interviewed the security guards, we interviewed the admin team, we interviewed all those people who were who were driving to office themselves. So that depends. If you have an application, or if you have um, if you can give me an example of what product you have, so I can like help you with that. But you need to identify your stakeholders who are directly using your product. They can be your experts to whom you need to interview. So you need to work on that. Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other question?
One more question can I ask?
Sure.
Mm. Look, when we start building the any feature of an application, like from the start, like from the scratch, we were not sure about the problem that user might face it or might not face it. How do we show with this design thinking that they are facing that problem?
That they are facing. So like I told you, that Monday is all about mapping the customer journey. It's what you will be identifying after interviewing them. So if you think that people, they're not using your application, there could be multiple reasons. Last year I was working on one product. It was related to farmers. There was a lot of there were a lot of complaints that the farmers made, that we're unable to um, log in, or they made complaints that the internet is not working. We got but the actual problem wasn't with our internet coverage. The problem was that they were not really trained how to use a smartphone. So they used to, they couldn't figure out that their phone is on airplane mode. So we made the entire journey, all those possible, like I told you initially, that you have to write down your long-term goal, and then you have to write down your sprint questions. Every single thing which can make you fail in achieving your long-term goal is what can be a problem. So it's like you need to be sure that if let's suppose if I'm unable to bring more customers on the application. So maybe I am not branding or marketing it well. Maybe I'm not making better offers. Maybe the service I'm delivering, they have more competition in the market, and they're providing better rates. So there could be like, you need to you need to think for every single thing which can make it go wrong, which can make you fail achieving a long-term goal. So that was the first initial activity. Actually, design thinking, this design sprint thing, it's a complete week's training. So what I told you guys was just a crux to summarize, or a high-level brief of everything which you would be doing. But when we in actual, when we deliver this training of design sprint, so the entire week, it takes entire week to build this cognitive neurology, where we have to make people change their mindset. It cannot be done in like an hour or so. So it takes at least a whole week. And when you talk about your management, so you can make them part of it. You can there are lots of podcasts online, so that's and a lot of case studies. So I did show you that so many companies, they're using it for implementing innovation. And that also depends on your management, that if they are really willing to innovate, or if they're really open for innovation, only then they will agree to this. If they have the traditional mindset, then you really need to make them unlearn that and then relearn. So then for them, it's also necessary that they should be part of such trainings.
Mehreen, if you have like 5, 10 more minutes, then maybe
Yeah.
we can consider switching the language and ask questions in Urdu. I hope that will be fine with you, right?
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure. So,
ठीक है. Yes, I do have 5 minutes. Same. Any questions, ka?
Yeah, it's Shaheen here, Mehreen. I want to ask you a question.
Ji.
Yeah, so how we decide about the team structure for executing design sprints? Who are the team members for executing that? This is actually question number one. And question number two is just like you gave the example of solving the problem for parking in your office. And then you actually identified and you solved that problem by suggesting some type of chips that you will be installing somewhere in the parking. So how actually you are making sure that the solution that you are proposing after executing and running the design sprints, so that will also be a cost effective for the organization, that how actually they can manage that. So so what is your approach about that?
Okay. Okay, so आपका पहला क्वेश्चन टीम मेंबर्स. So टीम मेंबर्स के लिए जरूरी नहीं है, वो कोई भी हो सकते हैं. That depends कि आपकी अपनी पूरी टीम हो सकती है जो कि किसी एक स्पेसिफिक प्रोडक्ट के ऊपर काम कर रही है. मेरी कंपनी में ये एक सेपरेट प्रोग्राम है जिसमें वॉलंटियरली हम डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट से लोग जमा होते हैं, और जिसको जो प्रॉब्लम पसंद आती है वो उसके ऊपर काम करने लग जाता है, इररिस्पेक्ट कि वो किस डिपार्टमेंट या डिवीजन का है, बिकॉज इट्स ऑल अबाउट क्रिएटिविटी. और ज़रूरी नहीं है कि फाइनेंस से रिलेटेड प्रॉब्लम्स जो हैं वो फाइनेंस के ही बंदे सॉल्व कर सकते हैं, बिकॉज जिस तरह शुरू में मैंने कहा, इट्स ऑल अबाउट बीइंग स्क्रैपी. और आपने किसी भी चीज का अगर जुगाड़ लगाना है तो वो तो कोई भी बंदा, मतलब एक सबसे अच्छा तो एक किसी बच्चे को आप बता दें कि ये प्रॉब्लम है, इसको इजीएस्ट तरीके से किस तरह कर सकते हैं. सो विदाउट वेस्टिंग मच टाइम ऑन फैंसी प्रोडक्ट्स और सॉल्यूशंस, वो आपको सिंपली बता देगा ये करो या ना करो. सो टीम मेंबर्स के लिए इट्स नॉट नेसेसरी कि आपके पास कोई स्पेसिफिक टीम या रिक्वायरमेंट हो. जिस तरह अगर हम स्क्रम के लिए हमारे पास एक प्रोडक्ट ओनर होता है और देन स्क्रम मास्टर होता है, वो इसमें कुछ इस तरह नहीं है. सो टीम का स्ट्रक्चर इज can be anyone who is willing to work on that project. प्रोडक्ट आपकी एग्जिस्टिंग टीम भी हो सकती है, रैंडम भी हो सकती है, लेकिन जब आपने इंटरव्यू करना है उसके लिए ये दैट इज नेसेसरी कि आपने सिर्फ उन लोगों से इंटरव्यू करना है जो कि आपके प्रोडक्ट के करंट या पोटेंशियल यूजर्स हो सकते हैं, सिर्फ वही लोग आपको एक सही फीडबैक देंगे. कमिंग टू योर सेकंड क्वेश्चन, सॉल्विंग, जो कि इससे रिलेटेड था, जो हम लोगों ने सोल्यूशन प्रपोज किया. सो हमने, अगर आपने वीडियो देखी होगी, उसमें 3-4 डिफरेंट सॉल्यूशंस थे. एक बलून वाला था सोल्यूशन, देन एक लाइट का था, इंडिकेटर लाइट, और फिर तीसरा था ये आर्डिनो चिप्स का. सो हमने हर सोल्यूशन को टेस्ट किया, और आप जब इसमें प्रोटोटाइप्स बनाते हैं तो आप जिस तरह मैंने कहा, यू हैव टू बी स्क्रैपी. आपने अपने माइंड को इस तरह करना है कि हर चीज का जो मैं सोल्यूशन बना रहा हूँ उसको, इंस्टेड ऑफ उसके ऊपर मैं टाइम और एफर्ट और कॉस्ट वो करूँ, मैं उसको नॉर्मल तरीके से भी बना सकती हूँ. जिस तरह मैंने शुरू में बताया था कि जब हम लोगों ने वो चिप्स इंस्टॉल करनी थी जिस रात, थर्सडे के दिन, उस दिन बारिश हो गई और हम वो कर ही नहीं सके. तो हमने वो पूरा जो बीन काउंटर था वो पेपर से बनाया और चार्ट बोर्ड से, और वो हमने बता दिया कि हम एग्जैक्टली करना क्या चाहते हैं. लेकिन नेक्स्ट डे क्योंकि वो सारा कुछ क्लियर हो गया था, तो इंस्टेड कि हम लोग वो चिप्स जो है वो पार्किंग लॉट में जाके लगाते, हमने एक जूते का डब्बा लिया, उसके अंदर वो चिप्स डाले और उसको कनेक्ट किया, और ऊपर से क्योंकि वो सेंसर्स थे तो ऊपर से हम लोगों ने 2 डिंकीज ली गाड़ियां, और ऊपर से जो चीज हमने वहां पे एक्चुअल जाके करनी थी पार्किंग लॉट में, वो हमने छोटे से जूते के डब्बे के ऊपर बना के दिखा दी कि हम करना क्या चाहते हैं. सो ये सारा कुछ आपकी अपनी क्रिएटिविटी के ऊपर है, आप किस तरह सोच सकते हो. एंड यू नीड टू ट्रेन योर माइंड के बगैर ज्यादा पैसे खर्च किए हम लोग, जो मेरे माइंड में आइडिया है वो मैं अगले को किस तरह दिखा सकता हूँ. और आपने तो अप्रूवल ही लेना है उसके ऊपर. लाइक यू हैव टू इंश्योर कि आप जो सोल्यूशन प्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं, जिसके ऊपर आपने काम करना है एक्चुअली, उसका आप एक MVP बना के आप कस्टमर से टेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि क्या उसको ये सोल्यूशन चाहिए या नहीं है. वो ओके करेगा तो आप इसके ऊपर वर्किंग करेंगे. हम लोगों ने वो एक जो एक प्रोटोटाइप बनाया था, उसके ऊपर जब हमारे जितने भी स्टेक होल्डर्स थे, जिनसे हमने इंटरव्यू लिया और जिनको हमने प्रेजेंट किया, दे वर ऑल सेटिस्फाइड. सो हमें समझ आ गया कि जी इंस्टेड कि हम इंडिकेटर्स लगाएं, और जितने जो एस्टिमेट हमें हमारी एडमिन ने बताया था उसका 1/8 कॉस्ट के ऊपर हम लोगों ने ये सोल्यूशन दिया, और हमें से कोई भी बंदा टेक्निकल नहीं था. तो और इसी में जो मैंने आपको बताया था कि वेडनेसडे को आपने अपने जितने भी, सॉरी ट्यूसडे को आपकी प्रॉब्लम से रिलेटेड जो सॉल्यूशंस हैं आपने उसको गूगल करना है, आपने अपना रिसर्च वर्क करना है. बिकॉज उसी तरह यू विल गेट टू नो कि जी इस प्रॉब्लम का, जो मेरे पास प्रॉब्लम है, ये दुनिया में एग्जिस्ट करती है, इसके लिए दुनिया में लोगों ने क्या क्या किया हुआ है. सो क्या वो मैं चीज टेस्ट कर सकता हूँ यहाँ पे या नहीं, उसकी क्या कॉस्ट आएगी, उसको मैं किस तरह और कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव बना सकता हूँ. सो ये सारी चीजें आपकी डे बाय डे आप कर रहे होंगे, एंड में जाके आपका प्रोटोटाइप बनेगा. और इसी में जो आपने कहा कि जी हम किस तरह वैलिडेट कर सकते हैं कि कौन सा सोल्यूशन हमारा जो है वो करेगा या नहीं, तो ये सारे जितने भी सॉल्यूशंस थे उस पे जब वोटिंग होती है, सो वो यही है कि आपने उसमें से जो बेस्ट पॉसिबल सॉल्यूशन आपके लॉन्ग टर्म गोल को हेल्प कर अचीव करने में, आपने वो सेलेक्ट करना है. सो यू नीड टू लिंक कि जो भी आपके सॉल्यूशंस हैं, जैसे मैंने शुरू में कहा कि अगर आपके पास थर्सडे तक बहुत सारे सॉल्यूशंस आ गए, ये अच्छी बात भी है लेकिन ये एक बुरी बात भी है, क्योंकि जितने ज्यादा सॉल्यूशंस होंगे उतने ज्यादा सॉल्यूशंस को आपने टेस्ट करना है और सिलेक्ट करना है. सो इसलिए इंस्टेड के हर सोल्यूशन को आप टेस्ट करें, आप उसके ऊपर वोटिंग करते हैं. हर बंदा इंडिविजुअली बताता है कि उसके ख्याल में क्या ये सोल्यूशन बेहतर है या नहीं है, प्रोज एंड कॉन्स, और इसमें कोई ग्रुप डिस्कशन नहीं होती. हर बंदा इंडिविजुअली आके बताएगा और वोटिंग होगी. जिस सोल्यूशन के ऊपर सबसे ज्यादा वोट्स आए आप उसे सिलेक्ट करते हैं. कुछ सोल्यूशंस होते हैं जो फौरन इम्प्लीमेंट किए जाते हैं, कुछ सॉल्यूशंस होते हैं जो कि वर्ती होते हैं इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए, लेकिन उस पर टाइम ज्यादा लगता है, सो वो आपके प्रोजेक्ट्स बन जाते हैं. तो ये इस तरह मैप्स बनते हैं. और दैट्स इट. कोई और क्वेश्चन?
I guess that's it. So we can call it a day. Thank you for your time, Mehreen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone.
Allah Hafiz.
Yeah. Allah Hafiz.
Goodbye. Allah Hafiz.
Goodbye.
Thank you guys. A very good presentation. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. That was really nice presentation.
Thank you. Goodbye.